Good morning and welcome to Trading with Larry. It's Larry Benedict, joined by Eric Shamilov. Good morning, Eric. I had to join you with a hat. I rarely wear a hat, but I was on the way down, and one of my kids left a hat, so I picked it up and I put it on. I see you couldn't get the 2 stars for your general's hat. Kind of fits the moment. Massive disrespect by the Iranians, literally. But Trump said he's going to get him. He's going to get him. We're going to hit him hard. I mean, I thought we were hitting him hard before. I
Well,
don't
it,
really.
it was it was Fed week, so he had to get oil below 80. But but then Iran came in and said, you know what? We'll get oil back above 80 whenever
Here's
we
what
want.
here's what I'm gonna say, okay? Because we talked a little bit about it yesterday, and you're all freaked out with whether oil's 70, 80, or 90. I mean, literally, I've traded oil at 150 many years ago. Okay, that was 2000, I believe, 11. Um, so we had much higher crude oil prices. I don't. I think the Fed is, it's a good time to jump into the Fed because really, I think we should spend a lot of this podcast talking about the Fed and the earnings. This is an interesting day, second day of a Fed meeting. It's funny, usually in trading, the day of a Fed meeting, you've said it before too. You go for a walk, you could take your dog to the park, not a lot going on. But not with this market. I mean,
I know.
the combined move in Nasdaq, okay, from the reopen yesterday to right now is more than it's moved the whole year, okay, which is a lot, okay. It started down 300, 200 something point. No, it was up, I'm sorry, 100 off Seagate's earnings. Then they had the thing that they did a sneak attack on us, which obviously it wasn't really a sneak attack, but they did a sneak attack on us. And then it went down 350 points from there. And then it proceeded to go from down 250 to up 200 in a matter of 30 minutes on the opening in Asia. So that's another 500 points. So we got almost 1,000 there. And then we went down and up about four more times overnight for another 500 points. So, we've moved probably, I don't know, I would say an easy 10% up and down, back and forth all morning and all in the overnight. And it's going to all be for nothing because at 2 o'clock, the Fed is going to release. And, you were sending me something that said Citadel thinks they're going to raise rates. I'm not in that camp, but, anything's possible. I don't, explain to me this. How is he going to get away with that when Trump was berating Powell up to his last meeting to lower rates? So how is he going to go be okay with this guy raising rate? I know he will be because he's scared of him, and he only took the job because he said one of the prerequisites is you cannot ever talk bad about me. So it's going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah, but what happened to Fed independence? And at the end of the day, like, what could Trump actually do if he raises rates today?
Oh, he's not going to do anything because
There you
DJT
go.
is what's his nickname? Taco Bell. Okay, he actually hired someone that can actually stand up to him, and he won't say anything. But we talked a little bit about this too. What if he raises a quarter point? What is that going to do for inflation? What is that going to do for anything, really?
Not much. I think the biggest thing it would do is send the market down a lot. That incremental drop in liquidity, incremental drop in things like margin lending would we would see an impact in the stock market. I think much more than we would with actual.
Really? And I'm gonna tell you this. I think if he does it, they're very prepared to make the market receive it in a more positive way than you think. There's no way this guy is raising rates and the market's going to crash or tank. Okay, there's no way. Okay, it's just not even in the ballpark or the cards of what this guy would want to do or should do. So either he's told the players that are important what is going to be and what they need to do, or he's not going to do it. And I'm in the camp that he's not raising rates at this meeting. I'm feeling pretty confident about that. I know you say this 30% and everybody's looking for it. I'm just not understanding what is the reason why. I think the more important part will be the press conference because I think the press conference is not even potentially going to be open to questions. I mean, it's going to be very interesting. Why does he want to sit and answer questions? What's the reason?
Yeah, so you don't think it's going to be a simple kind of, raise rate? So you're saying if he raises rates, the market may not tank? I don't know about that. I don't think the market is prepared at all.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. If he doesn't raise the rates, what do you think is going to happen?
If he doesn't raise rates, then I think I think the market could have a little burden off its shoulders for a short period of time, and again, we go
Well,
into the
why,
press
why,
conference.
why is it a burden? I mean, rates are backed up so much that literally when he does move to raise rates, actually the bond market probably won't even react to it too much because it's already priced in all over the board.
Look,
Okay.
I think this adds to the confusion on top of an already confused market.
But why would he want to add to confusion? That's what I'm not like. The whole thing doesn't make any sense. If you're thinking he's going to raise rates and it's going to confuse the market, like, why would he want to confuse the market? Why does listen? He's much more educated than me for sure. I mean, you might be up there, you might be close, but being a Syracuse grad, I would just say it doesn't really make any sense to do it right now. Now, he can do it, and you think the market's going to crash. Dude, listen, why not
I think that's
buy?
definitely a scenario. Definitely a scenario. I know the Nasdaq's down 10% off the high, and we have a correction. But why does every correction have to get bought? Like I could see the technical setup.
Wait. We've had one correction, okay, which was in March for about an hour when you chirped at the dead ass bottom, okay, and that was
Yeah,
about it.
high, but
And wait, hold on, and we recovered that in a week, okay. Other than that, there hasn't been anything since 2022. Okay, pretty much. So I don't know. When you say every correction is bought, there hasn't really been much. The last one was certainly bought. Um, I think this Nasdaq S&P spread, which I got some statistics on it. It's the biggest move ever, pretty much, and it's certainly the biggest move in 20 25 years. You know, the
really?
you know, yes, the
Okay.
equal weighted S&P is at an all-time high. All-time high. It's never traded higher. And I have to tout, you're touting me that I called the down move. I'm touting the fact that we, came out with a product and that's our trade and it's at an all-time high. So, we'll probably look to get out of this. Um, you know, the RSP is at an all-time high and the Nasdaq's in a 10% drawdown plus. So I don't know, Eric. I mean, and the funny thing is they're so sided on this trade that, if Nasdaq rallies here, they're going to get, annihilated. Not, they're going to give back massive, and people have been piling it into it as early as today. You know what I'm saying? So
So
it's,
the rally that I know you're looking for a rally,
no,
and
I am
I
not.
understand your
No,
point.
no,
I get it.
no.
It's a technical. It's okay,
I'm not
Larry. You can be
looking,
bullish. It's fine.
I'm not bullish. I'm saying I would rather be long Nasdaq than RSP here. I would rather be long Nasdaq than S&P outright here. Okay,
But that's
just
being
for
bullish. That's
just
being
for a trade,
okay.
just let me speak. Just for a trade, because I think the trade is sided, meaning so many people have piled into this trade and they think it's safe. Okay. And then let me ask you a question. What market have we seen in the last 10 years that can rally without NASDAQ? 10 years. Go back even more. There hasn't been one. So this is an anomaly. It will, listen, it will, it will have some legs. It's had crazy legs so far, and we participated in it. I want to thank someone who may be watching that gave this trade or idea to me, which I should have run with more heavily. But right now, I don't like that trade because I just think it's very crowded and I'm not bullish. Okay. Eric, come on. How could the market rally without, NVIDIA, Meta, this one, that one? It's
I
just,
completely get it. I completely get it. I said it here too. I like why that trade is becoming obvious. Everybody's noticing it, and a lot of people are in it. It's a hideout, right? But at some point, there's going to be no quarter in the market. So
but how is the S and I'm telling you, and this has been going on for 2 straight weeks. The S&P is like a utility. It literally is like a utility. Like yesterday, Nasdaq was getting killed on the opening, down 500. Okay, as Nasdaq's coming back, the S&P is like exploding. Okay, it's not going up; it's exploding. And then the Nasdaq couldn't even get back to unchanged. The Nasdaq couldn't get back to unchanged with the S&P up 50. I don't think I've ever seen that. Okay, S&P up a full percent, Nasdaq. I mean, we've seen stuff like that, but Nasdaq down a percent. And we talk about something interesting here. Like if you watch the Nasdaq future, literally, I keep saying this. It's like this: stable, stable. It's like being on a plane. When you hit the pocket of turbulence and it just drops. That's Nasdaq. It's like, chilling, chilling, chilling. Even when we're on the air now, it just dropped 50. I mean, it's crazy. And the S&P doesn't move. Moves like
so
a,
so you think we're going to rally, basically?
you
You
keep
want to be
saying
long.
that, and I did not say that. So
So
stop.
how could the Nasdaq be a better long for you?
Because it
But
could be.
you don't think we're
Because
going
it
to
could
rally?
be. Because I think maybe the S&P goes down more than the Nasdaq goes down. Why is that not possible? Why is that not possible?
I I don't see that.
Okay, you don't think we could have a day or two of that? That's what I think. Okay, I'm not saying 100% we're going to rally. I'm
That's just a
saying,
remote possibility, but okay, maybe.
why is it a remote possibility? It
Because the whole
happens.
trade, the whole market is in the AI trade, and I know that we're down 10% off the high.
Okay, time out. The whole market's in
This
the
trade
AI
is not
trade.
unwound at all, not even close.
Okay, 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 okay. All right, big boy, whatever you say. The last 2 weeks of relentless NASDAQ selling has not been an unwind of any sort. No, they're sitting in these stocks.
But they've been it's the Nasdaq's been falling, but every week they're finding a new rotation. That's not an unwind. That's not an unwind.
Okay, well, wouldn't that be an unwind if they're buying one stock that they're selling out of down a lot and buying another stock that is up that they buy that then comes in? There's no way they could rotate in NASDAQ and be up money. No way. No possible way.
So
Okay.
if the Q rallies, what kind of rally are you potentially looking at? And do you think it's going to go back to an all time high?
Dude, I think you think it's going to rally because you keep talking about what kind of rally, when it's going to rally, this and that. So why don't you just say you think the market's going to rally? Because I did not say I think the market is going to rally. I think that trade is overcrowded and we're getting out of it today. Okay, pre-Fed. Okay, we're getting out of this trade. It's been a beauty. Okay, dude, you have RSP at an all-time high and the Nasdaq in a 10% correction.
Yeah, we could listen if Warsh comes out nice and dovish for the market, we could have a little relief rally. But I'm of the mind that any one of these rallies, you let it settle down and then you fade it. I don't think this move is over. Uh, Short term, technically, yeah, all the things we look at are oversold. The Nasdaq S&P spread, all that stuff. You want to look at just pure price action. Uh, Short term oversold. I get it all, but I think there's probably a lot more. Look what happened last night. SK Hynix, right? We're gonna have earnings. What are these new earnings reports going to say that Google that that is not going to basically repeat exactly what Google said last week? I think the message is going to be all very similar. Yeah, we have blowout numbers, but we're going to spend our last dollar into trying to win the AI race.
Well, can I ask you this? Last quarter, when they came out, the same thing happened. Said the same thing: massive capex, massive spending, massive this, and not only did they maybe go down for a minute, they exploded up. Look at MU. Okay, MU is your beautiful example. Went from 400 to 1200, dude. For let's say 500 to 1200. Okay, how did that happen? I mean, come on.
The
They,
hype train, baby. You know what the hype train is all about. Once the
okay, but
hype
now
train takes over,
what?
look out. You can't. You gotta either join or get the hell out of the way. The hype train is a very powerful force in the market.
I understand all of that, Eric, but I'm just looking at the market, and it's the reverse of a hype trade. It's a crash trade. It's a trade that I don't even know what, like looking at the S&P here and looking at the Nasdaq here. It doesn't the Nasdaq, the QQQ is still up about 8% for the year, 8.5. Okay, the S&P is up more than the Nasdaq now, basically, for all intents and purposes. Okay, the thing was out 10%. So now the trade is inverting the other way. That's all. That's all I'm looking at. And
So yeah,
listen,
the chat is wants to ask you a question. Larry has been calling for a recession. I think this is a good time for you to answer this. Larry has been calling for a recession, but now he's looking for a bounce. You want to clarify that a little bit?
hold on a second. Between you and the people, I don't know what's going on. What a bounce of what does that have to do with? First of all, bounce has zero to do with a recession. Okay, a
Exactly.
bounce in the
Exactly.
stock market. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not calling for a bounce. Why can't people understand? We came out with a product. Okay, our product was to get long equal weighted S&P. The equal weighted S&P has exploded over the S&P. Okay, the trade worked massively. Okay, it closed at an all-time high. Okay, that was all I was looking for. Alongside that, I got lucky because I thought the market would correct like this. But who would have thought that the S&P would go to an all-time high when the Nasdaq would go down 11% in Q? That's all. It is not, and as far as the recession, I think we're gonna have a recession because listen, I'm out west. What is going on in real estate alone is the most epic thing I've ever seen. Okay. The spending is so out of control. The prices, they talk about it, unaffordable housing, I live in South Florida. We have unaffordable housing. Okay. I think at some point, don't you think that causes a recession? Now, I don't know, you know,
I don't know.
we're
Housing's been weak. Real estate's been weak for a while.
okay.
I
Not
would say
where I
real
am.
estate. I would say one area of the market that has been in a recession is probably real estate. I was
How
actually
do you
looking.
see, dude? That I don't know. I show me where you can get cheap real estate or real estate that's come down. I'd love to see it. I'd
Well,
love
there's
to
no
see it.
movement. People, the buyers and sellers are both kind of stuck. I feel
Eric,
like.
my son went to rent an apartment in Manhattan. Okay. First of all, the prices are out of control. Second of all, apartments are renting in 30 seconds. He can't even get an apartment. So I don't know where you're seeing that prices are coming down. I mean, the tri-state area is up, I'm sure. If you go to somewhere in the middle of nowhere, maybe that might be the case, but I don't see it. You do? Where do you see prices coming in? It ain't in Florida.
Look, I have a lot. I have a lot of friends that are in real estate. There's nothing but complaining going on in that industry right now. Nothing but complaining.
Then you know what? You should give your friend really good advice. You ready? Get on a plane, relocate to South Florida. Okay. Like what? Okay, where is the guy selling? In what place? Where's this clown living?
New York City, baby.
I don't think that
It's
that's the
tough here.
case.
It's tough here with real estate.
I don't think so. I think it's sky high. Okay. Again, I don't know for sure, but I would say that, things are moving, things are selling. I don't know. I think real estate is unaffordable. I mean, it's just, you know, where I'm staying, what is real estate a foot where you live? Do you know?
It depends between commercial and
No, a
residential.
home.
I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. I'm not in that
Well,
industry.
okay, where I live is like 1200 a foot. Where I am is 3,000 a foot. Okay, and it's selling out. I don't know. Listen, I mean, definitely a crimp in the market would definitely probably hurt real estate, but in the area that I live in, we don't see that at all. But so let's touch on the Fed. Okay, so basically, you're saying they're going to go today.
Am I saying they're going to raise rates? I don't know. I have no idea. Absolutely zero. I just
Hmm.
don't know. Um, from one point, the odds are showing a potential move. You have Citadel saying they're going to do it. I think there was another institution saying they were going to do it. I want to. I'm leaning no. I'm leaning no, but I don't know. This guy. It feels like he wants to surprise the market somehow, and I feel like it's more important to be ready for the outcome rather than predicting the outcome. So,
Well, how are you going to be ready?
well, you're ready by kind of looking like estimating that the market could fall a little bit more than usual here if they do. Like you got to be ready for an outsized move
I
and act
understand, but
accordingly.
how would that take place in your world? Are you buying puts before the meeting? You're not going to be able to make a move once the move happens. I mean, you're going to be out. Okay, so I'm putting on some upside call butterflies, but I just don't even feel that
What are
great
those
about
priced
that.
at? What are those
Whatever,
priced?
same as always. They're cap trade, but like I think if the Nasdaq gets the outcome they want, it's going to move significantly. Okay, we're moving 1% and 2% every hour of every day. What's going to happen? If he comes out and doesn't cut rates and the market likes it, are we going up 3.5%? Like, I don't think so, but anything is possible.
The
On
pricing
the
on upside calls looks attractive if you want to get bullish before the Fed. Actually,
really.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Up a straddle, straddle's what, like 50 points? Up 50 points, and call butterflies are pretty cheap.
You also have to remember that the press conference doesn't come till 2:30, so really you're only trading for an hour of the trading day for the most part. But another weak opening in Nasdaq, not terribly weak, but another weak opening.
Look,
Um,
I know
it's
we had action last night, but you look at the board and the stock indices are kind of flat and they're down.
listen. I agree, but the action was insane last night. Insane, like insane for a pre-Fed day. Insane overnight. I mean, the
Yeah,
Nasdaq went from down 250 to up 250 at 8 p.m. Go pull a chart, you'll see it. I mean, it went from up 100 to down 250, from down 250 to up 500. From there up 250, then back down negative 150, then back positive overnight, and then back negative and positive four different times. And now the market stinks. But I think anyone that need to make the move has made the move. So we'll see what happens. We have
I have a
4 minutes.
question for you. I have a question for you. If you own ARM and Intel right now, what action would you take? ARM and Intel.
Probably nothing. I mean, you missed it. What
No,
else can you
the
say?
question is they're long and they're
I
scared.
understand. I'd say you got to sit tight because you missed it. Meaning, I don't know where this person bought Intel or ARM, but Intel went from $20 a share to $150 a share. And if you owned it and didn't sell it, and now it's back to 80, you know, you missed it. That's what I'm saying. So you make a determination of, probably goes lower. But you know what's funny about this whole thing? Trump is long all of these names, which is hilarious. It's amazing. The guy is long everything. Dude. Did you hear what I said?
No, what did you say? Long everything?
Trump is long all these names. He's personally long everything, you know? So it's interesting that, well, he's lost control. But let's
I'm
talk
just
about,
looking at ARM options, and about 100 points out for August, 100 points out for September. You have premium to be sold if you're long the stock. I think there's covered call options for you here.
yeah, you could do that at Intel. I mean, but really,
Just roll that, just roll it like every month while holding the stock. You want your hedge to be wrong pretty much, but you're
yeah,
getting for August about three 3% of the value of ARM 100 points out, and then for September you're getting about 4 or 5% 100 points out. You could be selling calls about 325 a share if you want to hold it.
yeah. And let's talk about, we got 2 minutes. Let's talk about the earnings tonight. What is there, two or three big ones?
Yeah, let's take a look. Is it Apple? I believe they may be coming out tonight. Let's take a look.
No. Dude, you can't go through them one at a time. It's going to take too long.
Let's see. Microsoft is one coming out tonight. Robinhood, Meta is coming out tonight. Qualcomm is coming out tonight. I think that's it. Yeah. So Microsoft and Robinhood and Meta.
Awesome. All right. Well, that's what's on tap. Again, Fed. The only thing that's weird to me is, hold on. The only thing that's weird to me is just how stable the S&P has been. You know, I mean, today it's looking weak. Um, you know, but overall, we're going to wait on the Fed. It's going to be quiet and choppy. Opening is going to be lower again, and we'll see what happens. But on to Fed Day. So I wish everyone luck trading, and remember to like and subscribe to Trading at Larry. And I appreciate you guys.